Hello, if you're watching this video, you must be in BUS240 Business Communication. This short video is a review of the major topics and vocabularies for the BUS240 Business Communication midterm exam. From Chapter 1, first, make sure you know these vocabulary words: chronomics, diversity and diversity skills, downward communication, ethics, ethnocentrism, formal communication network, horizontal communication, informal communication, interference, organizational communication, proxemics, stakeholders. You should know what that is and be able to give examples. Stereotypes, synergy, what's a team, upward communication, and a virtual team. From this chapter, first, make sure you know what communication is. You should be able to draw and label the communication process, including sender, encoding, message over medium, decoding, receiver, feedback, and interference or noise. Make sure you know what the term organizational communication means and the different types of formal communication network. That would be upward, downward, and horizontal. Informal communication network, also known as the grapevine. You should also know what stakeholders are and be able to give examples. What are ethics? Diversity. Diversity is the degree of differences among a group. Ethnocentrism, stereotypes, chronomics and proxemics. What's a team, and what does the term synergy mean? That's all from, Chapter 1 is one more thing: a virtual team. Chapter 2, first, the vocabulary words, different types of listening, including active listening, casual listening, empathetic listening, intensive listening, and listening for information. Also, what is an agenda? What is brainstorming? What's a cross-functional team? What is haptics? What is intrapersonal communication? Intrapersonal communication? Meta-communication? And what are norms and norming? Performing, personal space, self-awareness, self-concept, self-esteem, and self-fulfilling prophecy. What is stereotyping? Visual kinesthetic communication and vocal kinesthetic communication. Also, stereotyping we just went over. Self-awareness, self-concept, self-fulfilling prophecy, and self-awareness, self-esteem. Nonverbal communication, which includes meta-communication, visual kinesthetic communication, and vocal kinesthetic communication. Here you also have proxemics, territoriality, and personal space. The different types of listening. Casual listening, listening for information, intensive listening, active listening, and empathetic listening. Also, what are bad listening habits, like faking attention, over-listening, failing to observe nonverbal cues, stereotyping, etc.? You should also know the difference between a flat or tall organizational structure. Also, for teams, you should know what a cross-functional team is and the stages of team development: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. Group decision making, the advantages and disadvantages. The difference between a face-to-face meeting and an electronic meeting, and how to make these meetings more effective. Also, what's an agenda? What are minutes? And how do they contribute to having an effective meeting? Lastly, what is brainstorming? Chapter 3. Vocabulary words for Chapter 3 are deductive approach, inductive approach, libel, outlining, slander, and organizational culture. What makes up organizational culture? What medium and which channel? When is it appropriate to use which medium and which channel? The use of communication media. Email. Email is used the most often. The perceptual process. What is the order in which we go from selecting, organizing, and interpreting information? What else? This chapter. Also, how to cultivate a you attitude. Remember, frequently when we give messages, we adapt to the receiver. And that's what I mean by a you attitude. What is outlining? What are headings? The different ways to outline. What is the deductive approach, where the major idea comes first, followed by details, and the inductive approach, where the details come first and then the main idea? When is it appropriate to use deductive, and when is it appropriate to use inductive? That is all for Chapter 3. Chapter 4. The vocabulary words are active voice, cliches. Again, deductive, doublespeak. What is a euphemism? What is goodwill? Also, the inductive approach. What is jargon? And when is it appropriate? The passive voice versus the active voice. Subjunctive sentence. What is a topic sentence? And what is tone? In addition, you need to know some of the differences between academic writing and business writing. Topic sentence. And again, deductive approach and inductive approach. Active voice versus passive voice. Also, how to use bias-free language. How can you make a document easier to read? Visual enhancements like enumerations, enumerated or bullet lists, headings, tables and graphs, lines and borders, and relevant images. What are jargons and when is it appropriate to use? What are cliches? What's a euphemism? What is goodwill and when do you use it? Those are the main ideas from Chapter 4. Chapter 5 is going to be the last chapter on the midterm. And here are the vocabulary words. An emoji, instant messaging, netiquette, social networking site, text messaging, webinars, weblogs, and blogs. Data security. Why is it important? When do we use emojis and memes? Email and the law. You should know that email, the government has said the employer can look at any email. It is not confidential. Guidelines for preparing email. What is netiquette? Instant and text messaging. Web pages. Social media. Weblogs or blogs. Wikis. Social networking sites. Voicemail. How to leave an appropriate voicemail. Webinars, what they are, and how they can be useful. That pretty much wraps up the major ideas and vocabulary for the midterm exam. The exam will be multiple choice. Good luck.